Have you ever wanted a really cool mini to represent a Willow Wisp on your game table? If so, this video is going to be for you. This is going to be Custom Miniatures Willow Wisps. Hi guys, I'm DM Dunn, and today I'm going to show you how I made some custom-made Willow Wisps to put onto my game table. Now, if you've ever had a Willow Wisp in your game, and you try to find a mini, you Google, try to look it up, you can't really find one that, even one in general, much less one that has a light on it. So I decided to make one. And these, turn it back on, is a couple of examples of what I came up with. And so whenever I was able to put these on the game table, I got another wow factor, and that's what I like to do, is get wow factors from my players. So I'm going to show you guys how I made these, and these weren't too complicated. So you've seen some similar techniques with these LEDs before. I'll also put links down below if you wanted to get access to any of the LEDs or any of the things that I've used. You can do that as well. So the base is just a 1-inch mini from Reaper Bones. I like these because they have a little bit of thickness to them, and that thickness is enough to hide a battery. And these are just little standard CR20 32 batteries. Same thing that you see in like the tea lights that have the battery operated tea lights. And then a battery that I have glued on the top of it, which is hidden by hot glue, and then just an LED lead, and then I made it longer. And the way I made it longer is all of these LEDs came with these restrictors, I think is what they're called. But as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of circuitry going on here, so I don't need any kind of resistors or reducers, or I don't know what they're called. But the point is instead of throwing them away, I was able to use the metal pieces that shoot out from either side of it. So I snipped those off, and then I connected them to the end of the wires that the LED light had, so that I made them longer. You're going to want to use some heat shrink. I cut a small piece to where the two connections were. Where I did the two connections, I just did a simple technique. I don't have a soldering gun, soldering tool. I don't do soldering. So I just bent one piece with a hook. I bent the other piece with a hook. I hooked them together, squished them together, put a little piece of heat shrink, heated it up, and shrinked it together. And it works pretty fine for me. And then, but you have those two wires coming down from the LED. Then you're going to want to get, after you link those two connections with some heat shrink, then you're going to want to get a longer piece of heat shrink for one of the two sides, because you don't want those squishing together and touching each other, because then it messes up where the light won't work. So you put a piece of heat shrink down one of the big long tubes, and then you can put another heat shrink over both of them and squish them together. And that's what you're looking at right here, is just a piece of black heat shrink tubing. Then I drill a hole straight down in the middle of the base, and then one off to the side. I put the one lead going straight down, and I bend it up underneath, and the other one goes across the top and down, and that way when the battery goes in, it's touching the edge of one and the top with the other one. You do need to make sure that you do this in the correct fashion, because whenever you touch the two sides to the battery, one side needs to be touching the top and or the sides, and then one needs to be touching the other side, which is only like the bottom or the belly of the battery. So you need to make sure that you're putting the correct piece down the center, which will be the one that touches like the smallest part of the battery or just the belly. And then out on the edge will be the one that can touch either like the top or those sides. And that way you can make sure that they connect and they get power from the battery on there. So the batteries have the belly side and then the top side. So just make sure that you're doing it in the right fashion. And you can see right there, there's the one lead that's coming from the center and just bent, and the other one's just coming from the side and just straight down. And that's it. When I'm not using it on the game table, I'll just turn the battery the opposite direction and store it in there. And since it's not the right way, it doesn't connect and the light doesn't turn on, and you're not wasting the battery. On top of here is a magnet, and that magnet is what holds the battery from falling out. And it's just strong enough to go through the plastic. I didn't drill a hole or anything. I just put a little bit of hot glue over the rest of the top for texture, painted it black, bada bing, bada boom, and you got yourself a Willow Wisp. And you can do different colors, whatever you want. And there you go. Go ahead and give us a comment, like, subscribe. You can use our Amazon affiliate link to get any of the materials that you need. You can join us as a Patreon on patreon.com/dmdone. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you all. And until next time, have more D&D fun with DM Done.